What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Out of the Park Baseball 26, where we are rebuilding the Pittsburgh Pirates. And it all comes down to this. We are on October 1st, 2029. Our Pirates have the top seed in the NL. We're about to begin the 2029 playoffs together in today's episode, and we're going to play them through till the end. No matter how far we go, that will be the entirety of this episode devoted to the playoffs. So we're going to see how long our journey is here. Hopefully we can make a stretch run. Last year we had just gotten a taste of the postseason experience. It was pretty short-lived. We ended up losing a 3-game wildcard set against Arizona. But this year we are back stronger than ever before, and I feel like we're really built to contend. Obviously we're the best team in the NL, but I'm hopeful that we can make a run and really compete for the World Series this year, which would be a first for the simulation. So I couldn't be more excited to get things kicked off with you guys. If you have made it through the series to this point, if you followed along, we're over 30 episodes at this point. This is finally kind of like we're reaching the point in the sim where we have fielded a competitive team. And I just want to say thanks for joining along for the journey. I've never made YouTube videos before, and it's been a real learning experience. I was going back to watch some of the early videos we made, and they were pretty rough. So if you made it through those, I've gotten a lot better in the time since at making videos. I really appreciate you sticking with the series. So hopefully we can, hopefully you're sending like good vibes to the team today. Hopefully we can parlay that into a good performance here. Before we get started, though, I do want to do some table setting. I have not really set up our playoff roster. I haven't finalized it. I have a rough idea of what I want to do, but I'm going to wait until these early series are decided, and then I can take a closer look at our opponents. But I sort of wanted to chronicle our team history here. You can kind of see how we've grown over the course of the sim. When we took on the Pirates, we managed to squeak out a positive record in that first half season of 2025, but ended up finishing last in the division 2 years in a row here, and we're 73 and 89. That was a real low point for us in 2026, where the team was just bad, and then we managed to turn a positive record in 2027. We were pushing really aggressively to sneak into the playoffs this season, and we fell just short, I think missing out by a game or two out of the final wildcard spot there. So definitely positive momentum builder, but we didn't really fully come along until, I would say, last season when we were a 91-win team. We finished second in the division, and like I alluded to earlier, lost in the wild card series to Arizona 2-1, where they threw out 3 straight lefty pitchers, I'm remembering, and it was so annoying to deal with. We just had our B team in there. We never got our righty lineup in there, and they just kind of steamrolled us. After we took game 1, by the way, they came back for 2 and 3. So that was just tough all around. We were playing on the road. It was a bad situation. This year, we have nothing to complain about. We have home field advantage, and we will have home field advantage for all of the playoffs, maybe the World Series, depending on who makes it from the other side. So big improvement, obviously. 94 and 68. Good enough for the third best season in modern Pirates history. We didn't quite beat the 1960 team or the 1979 team in terms of total wins, but super strong year, and this is our first year of a new contract. So we are positioned well. Our owner is obviously very happy with all of our progress this season. Outstanding progress of reaching the playoffs, and he wants us to reach the World Series by 2032. We may be a little ahead of schedule, so we'll try to knock that one off as well here. Bit of financial management. I've jacked up the ticket prices to $50 a ticket, which is I want to say a $17 increase from our regular season ticket price. They were around $33, $34, and we bumped it all the way up to $50. So we're going to be rolling in the dough these postseason games. Hopefully we can string together quite a few. But I think that's everything. We'll review our playoff roster once we have a clearer idea of who we're going to be facing, whether that's Arizona or St. Louis. But I'm going to start working through that, and I will rejoin you once we have a finalized bracket here. All right, you guys, it looks like it's going to be a divisional face-off for us. The St. Louis Cardinals managed to overcome the Arizona Diamondbacks in a full best-of-3 wild card series, and they advanced to meet us in the second round here. So when I saw this, the first thing I was curious about, I was like, well, how was our, how did we stack up against them? Sort of a team versus team on the season, and overall, not bad. We were 8-5, which is definitely very solid. Don't have too many complaints here. Like 615 win percentage. I think we're positioned well, and we did it all year in the regular season. So like I'm confident. Why wouldn't we be confident? We are the home team here. We are the best team in the NL. We have to remain confident. Let's take a few minutes to meet the team. I've set up our playoff roster, but let's start with St. Louis first, and you can see they have a couple of key injuries. Brendan Donovan has been out for, it looks like, an extended period of time. Lars Nootbaar got hurt in the most recent series against Arizona. He will not be part of the team this time around. He has hip soreness, so they're missing a big lefty bat for them. And, other guys, Shane Bieber, Andre Piante, are both out as well. But they have quite the team still. They still have a bunch of really scary guys. They have Dylan Cruz, J.J. Weatherholt, Mason Wynn, Spencer Jones as like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all very, very strong. Cruz looks like, tremendous runner, great fielder, very well-rounded bat for them. Good on the base path. J.J. Weatherholt is a tremendous player, a 4.4 WAR player for them. He looks really dangerous. Just 27 now. Well, I say just, but he is fully come along, 27-year-old player now. And then, of course, Mason Wynn is very good as well. Also 7.2 WAR. That's crazy. He has a huge arm at shortstop, and also drove in 90 runs for them. So it's going to be tough. They have a bunch of other guys here kind of further down in the order. It actually looks like Nootbaar is playing through it, so that was my mistake. I thought maybe he was not going to play, but it looks like they're rolling him out anyway. They have Jacob Young patrolling center field, who is like a crazy good defender. And they also have Ozzy Albies playing first, which is a little bizarre, but it looks like he's doing pretty decent. Pitching-wise, I think we're helped a little bit by the fact that they went the full series against Arizona, so we're not getting their ace game one. Nelfi Infante just pitched for them 2 days ago, so he's not quite ready yet. He looks really solid, and he was an all-star for them this year. First time up at the major leagues in a meaningful way. I think, this was his debut season, so to be an all-star in his debut year is pretty solid. He'll be their ace, but he will not get game one. That will be Ranger Suarez, who is 34 at this point, still producing at a relatively high rate, 1.3 WAR on the season, but has a 5 ERA, so maybe we can get to him. They're also rolling out Robbie Ray, so a couple of veterans here in the middle. Robbie Ray is now 38 years old and wrecked physically, but still a 1.1 WAR player. Good at holding runners, good stamina, has some stuff still in the tank. And then they're closing it out with Reese Olson. They're going with the 4-man rotation, and we will follow similar suit, but Reese also looks pretty good. Captain personality, 2.9 more for him, but he's just a little tired through 19 pitches 4 days ago. So that's going to be their starting pitchers, but they also have really heavy arms on the back end. They have Mason Miller, who led the NL in saves with 41 this year, and he was pretty much untouchable. Great ERA plus, tremendous FIP minus, so we really don't want to see him in the back end. Obviously 90 grade fastball. Looks like he's set to hit free agency this year, and he will certainly command a huge price. They also have guys like Jose Alvarado and Jason Foley, who are also very strong relievers, amongst other guys as well. So they're going to roll out 2 lefties, so we're going to have to make sure our lefty lineup is solid. When I go to the playoff coverage here, it kind of estimates, what starters may make starts in what games, and they're going to go Ranger, Robbie. So 2 lefties off rip, and then Ranger's going to get the back game too, the game 5, should it make it that far. So it's potential that we face off against lefties 3 times in this series. Of course, that's like subject to change. They may bump Reese up or they may bump Infante up depending on their rest status. It's kind of to be determined, but we're going to have to face lefty pitching in this. And when you look at our team record against lefty pitching this season, we were only 24-20, so we're kind of like a 500 team, which is a little bit scary. But we are like, we do benefit from playing at home for sure. We're 55-26 at home, so you hope that kind of cancels out the lefty pitching matchup a little bit, and then we're actually below 500 on the road. So hopefully we can, perform well there. But we've met our opponents. Let's see who we are rolling with here, and we'll start with pitching. It should be no surprise we're going BB Green, and then we are going to trust Jared Jones. He's our guy. We're going to throw him out there, even with the elevated numbers. I just think the upside with him is much higher. When he has a dominant game, it's incomparable to Mike Burrows being dominant. They're just very different pitchers, so we're going to go with Jones 3. Burrows will get 4, so it's likely, if the series goes on a bit, Burrows will pitch for us. And then you can see what we've done with the bullpen here. We've got McElroy just in like a mop-up duty. We have our 2 middle relievers here who are going to pitch, presumably if we're losing. And then we've kind of bumped all of our leverage arms down an inning to hopefully get them more exposure. I think maybe we mismanaged that last season, and we've got, starting with Randy, he's going to be the closer because he was our best reliever all season. He's going to be toggled to 8th plus, but we're also going to run Cade Smith in a stopper role of 7th and close game plus high leverage. So I think with his 30 stamina, he's a little bit more capable of this, and I kind of just like the idea of him handling the majority of the late setup work. And then we're going to bump Holton and Abreu down to be just 6th or later. So kind of asking a lot of these back-end guys to pitch, a good amount of innings, but I think they're capable of it. Hopefully our starters can give them some length as well. We've removed our pitch count from our coaching strategy, so everyone is fully unlocked and available to pitch upwards of, I think we had it set at like 110 pitches. They're able to go, far beyond that if they want to. So that's the strategy from a pitching perspective. Lineup-wise, not much has changed from like a roster perspective. We do retain Jack Brannigan as a like defensive sub. Gonna rotate him in at first base late in games, and then Esther Suero is here as sort of just a backup outfielder, but he will not get any meaningful playing time. We've dialed back all of our rotational work on the substitution front, so these lineups ought to be pretty locked in based on performance. Like we sort of look through who led in WRC plus versus right, who led in WRC plus versus left, and sort of mirrored those statistics in the order of our lineup to a degree. So we know we're going to face a bunch of lefties here. If we split versus left here and sort by WRC plus, like I said, you can kind of ignore Koziel out of just like small sample size, but you can see our top hitter was Connor Griffin, and then Yordani De Los Santos is up there as well. So Yordani's going to hit leadoff. I would think Nick Gonzalez would do that, but he didn't really perform against lefties this season. So we've actually bumped him quite a bit further down. And maybe a surprise as well, but O'Neal Cruz will not play versus lefties. We are benching him in favor of Carson Benj. O'Neal Cruz, as you can see, 84 WRC plus against lefty pitching. Carson Benj, 124. So quite the difference there. Felt like that was a change that made sense. But everyone else is, pretty well off hitting against lefty. Like Termar Johnson can hit left on left for sure. And so can Wyatt Sanford. They're both pretty capable. That's why they're high up in the order. Against righties, not much is different from how we had things structured in the regular season, but Nick Gonzalez is getting bumped down a bit. We're going to bet on Connor Griffin performing. He sort of cooled off as the season went on in the later months, and somewhat August, but really September, he cooled off quite a bit. We're going to bet on his overall season production carrying, and we're going to bat him high. I would just rather do him in the 2-hole at first, and then Nick Gonzalez in 8. I'm trying to keep this relatively left-right balanced, so I felt like this made the most sense. Obviously, I'm not likely to make many changes in this first series, but should we advance and win the series, I think we'll revisit the lineups each time and kind of adjust by the hot hand and ride who is producing. But we're going to roll out Camden Coziel as our first baseman. I think just compared to what we get from Spencer Horwitz, he just offers more upside, plain and simple. And Horwitz is not the best defender here. Even though he's a well-rated first baseman, like technically his range and error rating is not good. I think I just feel better about Coziel being a much safer option for us there, and hopefully, can limit any like hugely detrimental errors, because we know weird stuff always happens in the playoffs. So that is maybe one change we've made to kind of break the pattern we had in the regular season with our lineup versus right-handed pitching. So that's going to be our strategy. Let's dive into the actual action together, guys. All right, so here we are. It all comes down to this: Pittsburgh versus St. Louis in our house. We are 8-5 against them, first in the NL in runs, fourth in the NL in runs against. Their pitching looks really good. Their offense sort of middle of the pack. So first game will be Dan Beebe versus Ranger Suarez. Obviously, you think we would have the advantage here on paper. Dan Beebe is a prospective Cy Young candidate. It's really between him and Paul Skeens versus Ranger Suarez, the 34-year-old lefty who, is maybe in the twilight of his career here, but has put together a strong season for them nonetheless. So let's go ahead and see how we do here in Game 1 of the 2029 playoffs. We will simulate, and we take the dub 5-1, big win. No runs allowed, really. Looks like Cruz hit a homer along with Alfonso and Benj, so we were really hitting here. Let's see how the game unfolded. We were up 2-1 at the bottom of the third. We stretch it in the sixth and then hold it down late. Looks like they got 8 hits, but could not push across many runs. The bottom of our order really hit, and Carson Benj as well, and cleanup did super well. Nick Gonzalez, hot start. Connor Griffin struck out twice, so, something to watch. If that maintains, we may look to swap them in the order. Nothing from Antigua as well. Cruz with a big game. Looks like, we got homers early from Alfonso and Benj, and then Cruz in the sixth with 2 on, sends one out for a big 3-run shot. Good base running here. Cruz did get caught stealing. He had quite the bit of action today, and then Dan Beebe goes 7 1/3. Tyler Holton comes in to shut it down late. Love to see that. Player of the game, Dan Beebe. It looks like they actually started Joan Adon. I don't know what happened with Ranger. They switch it up on us and go for a righty here. I guess I should have picked up on that sooner based on our batting order, but a little bit of trickery there from St. Louis. I don't like being misled like that. I don't know what they're thinking, unless they just made changes to their lineup late. So it looks like Ranger got pushed back a game here. Let's try to see what... let's go ahead and finish today and see what they ended up doing. So we'll see who else ends up taking games here. It looks like we get some retirements here as well. From the minor leagues, no one particularly interesting, and we'll jump back to playoff coverage here to see who ended up winning. So the Dodgers take Game 1 over the Mets, and, wouldn't it be something if we were to match up against the Mets and face Paul Skeens in the LCS here? But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at, I wanted to see what they ended up doing with their rotation. So I guess maybe he just wasn't fully rested. That could have been the issue. They were forced to just do a bullpen game out of necessity, maybe. But yeah, super interesting. Looks like now we will have Hunter Green against Ranger Suarez, and they're only going to try to pitch Nelfi Infante once in Game 5. Yeah, he's still pretty gassed from the wild card series. So let's see how Game 2 goes here. We have Ranger again versus Hunter Green this time. Hunter Green has been really strong for us all season, so you hope he can make it happen here. We will simulate. And they flip it on us. They win 5-1 here. So looks like Green takes the loss. I would imagine our bats were just very ineffective here. It looks like the only player to get hits for us was Spencer Horwitz, so that will definitely do it. This is what we get for doubting Ranger Suarez. He holds us to 2 hits on the day. Not good, you guys. Not very good here. Hunter Green was just kind of average, and then De La Paz, Abreu, Klecker kind of come in to mop it up. Nothing really to report on because we didn't hit at all. And Wyatt Sanford keeps getting errors, dude. I made that gripe in our stat review about how his rating does not align with the quantity of errors he has accumulated this season, but just really disappointed. It looks like we drew some walks. Like we had a decent amount of base runners, but just nobody hit with runners on. So kind of unfortunate there. We'll hopefully bounce back here in the next game. Let's go ahead and finish today, and then we will advance through. It looks like LA goes up 2-0. The American League Series have kicked off. The Yankees and the Rangers are presumptive favorites over there. They both take game 1, so nothing for us today. We'll go ahead and advance, and now we will be playing in St. Louis, where it looks like, there's an interesting split here, and the Rangers go up 2-0. So here we go, game 3. It looks like they will start Nelly Infante. I was thinking he would likely be pushed up the starting order for them. As you remember, he is a 3.7 WAR player. Very, very good. First-time All-Star in his rookie season for them. He will go against Jared Jones, who has been with us for several seasons now and has always been really, really good. This year, maybe a little bit of a step back, but we're going to rely on his, experience and his career stats. Hopefully he can carry us through here. I would certainly rather have him pitch than Mike Burrows in this, pivotal game 3 here. This really will dictate, how the rest of the series will go. But we get to go against a righty pitcher, so that's a little bit of a win for us. I think we are, more well equipped to handle righty pitching. So let's see how this goes. Our first game on the road in the playoffs here. We'll simulate, and we take the dub 4-2. Let's go. Looks like we got the win late. Cade Smith with the W, Mason Miller with the loss. So Randy comes in for the save. You have to think they blew it late. We get 2 in the 9th. It was a tie game from the 5th on. They jump on us early, but we equalize in the top of the 5th. Managed to, limit them to just 5 hits on the day. I'm curious to see who. Axel Plaus with a 2-run double late. He must have been some sort of pinch hitter there. Looks like Nick Gonzalez and Connor Griffin both got in on the action. Wyatt Sanford draws 2 walks, plus gets an RBI. Connor Griffin, 1 for 4. It looks like nothing from Termar, Benj, or Lantigua. Nick Gonzalez still performing pretty well, and O'Neal Cruz as well. It does look like Axel Plaus pinch hit late and hit that double in the 9th to seal it for us. So I guess Gonzalez and Cruz both got on there right off of Mason Miller, likely. Yeah, looks like it. So Jones goes 5, not the best game, but pretty average. And then Abreu comes in the 6th, holds it down. Cade Smith in that stopper role. No hits over 2 innings, so love that from him. And then Randy comes in, gave up 2 hits, so I guess it got a little bit scary there at the end. But it looks like he managed to shut it down, and we take a 2-1 series lead. So their starting pitcher Nelfi Infante was actually player of the game. So they really just fumbled it late at the goal line. Mason Miller got hit up by Gonzalez and Cruz, it looks like. So now I'm considering adjusting our lineup now that we have 3 games under us. It's clear who's hitting and who's not. Like Lantigua and Termar are maybe not hitting where Gonzalez is. So I think I have a kind of a swap here in mind. We'll go Griffin there and then Gonzalez all the way up to the top. I don't really want to. I want to trust Termar a little bit more, but we're gonna I think go with this structure for this next game, and we'll go back to the playoffs here. We'll finish today and move on to the next game. And it looks like the Dodgers had no trouble with the Mets here, so they kind of loom on the other side of the bracket waiting for us here. No more movement on the AL side just yet, but today we are dipping down to our depth pitchers here. It will be Mike Burrows versus Robbie Ray, so kind of a middling matchup from a talent perspective, but both players have been really effective this season. Mike Burrows with a 3.0 WAR, Robbie Ray 1.1 WAR. So this is, we struggle against lefty pitching, so you never know how this may turn out, but hopefully we can shut it down here. Game 4 in St. Louis. How will the chips fall? We're going to simulate, and we defeat them 7-2. Big win. Cade Smith again takes the W, so putting him in that stopper role has seemed to really paid off. It looks like Brian Abreu gets the save as well, so we're kind of just, full on like chaos in the back of the bullpen, which I love. Spencer Horwitz actually hit a homer, which is I don't even know how many he had all year. He only had 8 all season, so that's crazy. Big 7-2 win. Let's see how we ended up doing. Spencer Horwitz, I just saw, was actually a player of the series MVP Spencer Horwitz. So maybe we bench Koziel. I don't know if we do or not, but Horwitz typically starts against lefty pitching, so this is sort of what we ran out there. I ended up swapping Gonzalez to lead off. I cut the clip and looked at our lineup a little harder. I bumped him swapped him and Yordani just because I felt like I wanted to ride the hot hand of Gonzalez despite his struggles against lefty pitching throughout the year. It doesn't look like that paid off. It looks like Yordani was the correct move. But good to see Griffin get 2 hits and get going. Lantigua is still hitless, and Johnson is still hitless through the series, so don't love that. But it looks like, Yordani, we came back late. Oh my gosh, I should have looked at this first, but they were up 2-0, blank us until the top of the 8th, where we get 4 to take a 2-run advantage, and then we keep pouring it on in the 9th. So I'm wondering who blew this from their perspective. Look at this graph. It's like, boom, there we go. But we jump on them late, get some steals from our guys. Didn't leave many runners on base, so it looks like everyone kind of hit. But we were only we both had 8 hits, so pretty even from that perspective. It looks like Burrows was right on average. I'm not sure why Finn McElroy came in here to get the final out. But Cade Smith comes in to take the 7th. Abreu goes 8 and 9, so 2 innings from him. He was stretched long, and wow, that's awesome. Oh, there was a rain delay. I bet that's why McElroy had to come in there. So kind of a bizarre game here. Alvarado blows it late. So we've advanced on to the next round, so that's awesome. Pittsburgh takes the divisional series. Spencer Horwitz leads the team. He's seeing the ball well, happy to contribute to the win. Hope it continues the rest of the playoffs, and I totally agree, Spencer. I hope it does. So let me advance all of this, and then I'll rejoin you once we are in the LCS portion of the playoffs. And now we find ourselves staring down the Los Angeles Dodgers in a best-of-7 series in the NLCS. The Dodgers are, of course, very good year in and year out. They have actually made it to the World Series the last 2 seasons of the sim. Last year, they lost in the World Series to Seattle, but the year prior, they actually won and took home the championship. So they're definitely a proven team. If we look at sort of our numbers and how we stack up, we are 5-1 against them on the season, so very good sign. But they are obviously a very well-balanced team. They're second in runs scored, first in runs against. Their pitching is awesome. Definitely better than ours, and their offense is right there with us. So they're going to be a challenge for sure. They have positive winning percentages, both home and road. So really the only major advantage we have is the head-to-head record, where we took 5 of 6. But let's go ahead and meet them and see what they're working with. A lot of familiar names, but of course some newcomers as well. From a pitching perspective, they're obviously really scary. They will go with Yoshinobu Yamamoto game one. He started the All-Star game this year. He's been awesome every season. I believe he won the Cy Young last year. Looks very, very good. Still just 31, so, really, really strong. George Kirby here as well, full 3.0 WAR player, like not walking a soul. The whip is super solid. Very strong year from him. He was recently brought over this offseason from those Seattle Mariners who defeated them in the World Series last year. And then we also have Roki Sasaki here, who's very, very stuffy, huge fastball slider splitter, throwing good velo, almost a 3.0 WAR player. Looks like he has improved every season for the last 3 years in terms of WAR. So looks like he's ascending as well. And they close out with, of course, Shohei Ohtani, who this year is a little bit weaker. It looks like he had 23 starts, had a 6 ERA, but you never know with never bet against Shohei in the playoffs especially. He also had 105 games of batting work where he hit 22 homers and drove in 60 RBI with 31 steals. So he's still very much a good player, just a little bit weaker on the mound this year. And he will get the 4 spot on the back end. They have this guy, Marco Corcho, who, I'm just wondering how they managed to develop this because he's a 75 grade ground baller who looks really scary to face. So we definitely don't want to see him. And they have some other faces here who, we're pretty familiar with, like Evan Phillips, Reynaldo Lopez, Pablo Lopez, and Alex Lange. From a roster perspective, there are familiar names like Andy Pages, Shohei Ohtani. They have Kyle Tucker, remember, batting 8th, and Dalton Rushing batting 9th. But they have a couple of new young players like Emil Morales, who is a 23-year-old shortstop who has tremendous generational power almost. Was a 4 WAR player for them this season, drove in 100 RBI. And they also have Oswaldo Osorio, the lefty first baseman who, has a 75 grade potential, also just a tremendous hitter all around, good contact and good power as well. So they're definitely very, very scary. This is a big challenge for us. They are down Alex Freeland, who is out with a torn labrum shoulder injury. So they're sort of plugging a hole with Joindry Vargas there for the time being. But there's no question this is going to be a difficult matchup for us. Game 1 is today in Pittsburgh, so we do have home field advantage, so hopefully we can get off to a hot start here. You never know against their pitching. Their pitching could just shut us down entirely, but we have our best guy against their best guy. We have to feel good, and, we hope Dan Beebe can bring it home for us. We're not making any meaningful changes from a lineup perspective. Sorry, I meant to review this before we... You thought I was going to simulate that game, but no. We're going to look at the lineup. We haven't really made any changes. The only change is bumping up Nick Gonzalez. We have this sorted for, I believe, playoff stats here. There we go. And we're swapping in Spencer Horwitz again. He's the divisional series, he's the MVP of the series prior. He's hot. He needs to play. Nick Gonzalez has a 139 WRC plus. He needs to bat high in the order. Edward Lantigua has not proven anything. Similarly, Tamar Johnson hasn't, but I'm willing to give him a little bit longer of a leash. So they're both pretty negative players for us. Wyatt Sanford also not good as well. But, hopefully all those guys kind of wake up and get it going. So this is going to be what we look like. Let's go back to the playoff coverage and simulate here. So obviously I'm really nervous about this. Let's see how game 1 goes. We get the dub, 6-2. That's huge. There we go. No homers for us. Looks like Kyle Tucker goes yard. Let's see how it unfolded. We jump on early. Bottom second, 3 runs. Looks like Connor Griffin with a big double. O'Neal Cruz follows it up with his own double. O'Neal Cruz has been so hot, you guys. How about him taking it easy all year and turning it on here in the playoffs? You love to see that. Carson Benj with another double at the bottom of the 3rd. We get more in the 5th. They come back in the 7th, but we answer in the 8th. So never really in question for us. Looks like everyone got a hit here, which is awesome. Even our guys like Lantigua and Termar, who were struggling in the series prior. A bunch of doubles here. Clean defense, no errors. Looks like Dan Beebe goes 6, walks 4, which you don't love, but strikes out 9. JoJo comes in for, lefty specialist work. Of course, walks a guy and gives up a hit, so total failure. And then Cade Smith goes almost 2 innings for us. Again, hitless ball, so I'm loving him in that stopper role. Holton comes in to lock it down for us, just being a little safe bringing him in. So overall positive start for us. Let's finish today out. We'll go back to the playoff tree, and I don't think they play. I think we alternate days here, so yeah, we won't know the outcome of the other series just yet. But now we have Hunter Green versus George Kirby. If we take this one, it'll be big time. Hunter Green did not have the best first game in the playoffs. 7.2 ERA is not super nice, obviously. But we're going to trust his talent here. I feel better about him performing than Jared Jones still. So maybe that changes if this is a dud. But for the time being, we're going to roll with Hunter Green versus George Kirby here. Game 2 in Pittsburgh. Let's see how we do. And we get the dub 4-2. That's big. And our bullpen gets the win. It looks like Kirby went a little long. Rodriguez gets the save. Homers from Lantigua and Sanford. Pirates up 2-0 versus LA. Let's go. So it looks like they get on the board first, but we take the lead right back, then get a 2-run lead here. They cut it to 1, but then we extend it, so we're still up 2, and that's how the rest of the game went. So pretty solid there. Sanford with the 2-run jack in the bottom of the third. Love to see that. Looks like, De Los Santos came in late along with Brannigan as defensive subs, so everything is going according to plan from a management perspective. Termar gets another hit. Hopefully he can get it going soon. And Cruz stays hot. Draws a walk, gets a hit, so very, very good from him. Looks like he also got a steal. He's really doing it all for us. O'Neal Cruz. Not the best game from Hunter Green. Gave up 7 hits, goes 4 2/3. We bring in De La Paz, who gives up a run, but, is pretty good, I would say, not bad in his appearance. Cade Smith comes in along with Brian Abreu, only giving up 2 hits between them, so they both came in and shut it down. Love to see that. I was scared of playing them after their regular season production. And, oh my gosh, Randy walks 3 and only strikes out 2, but he's quite the roller coaster. So I guess at some point the bases were loaded, or maybe maybe he got induced a double play or something like that. Let's actually go here and see. So yeah, it looks like we have Randy Rodriguez. We get a walk, strikeout, walk. So runners on first and second, strikeout, and then another walk. So 2 outs, bases loaded. Joindry Vargas, fielder's choice. Oof, tough to see if you're a Dodgers fan there. But obviously we love it. Almost slipped away though, so that's kind of scary. I don't know if that'll come back to bite us or not. I kind of like the way things are vibing right now. I don't want to touch much. So that was a close call. We'll call that a close call. And as you can see on the other side of the bracket, they have so far split 1 to Boston, 1 to Texas. Now we are finding ourselves in LA for Game 3 here. It will be Jared Jones versus Roki Sasaki. Obviously, we're not the best road team, and we have 3 here in a row on the road, so this could be a real turning point for the series. You hope that we can squeak out 1 at least here, but it's going to be tough. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't made any changes or anything to the lineup. I'm good to just roll with how we're doing things currently. It's going to be Jared Jones versus Roki Sasaki here in Game 3. Let's see. We get the dub. And oh my gosh, we have an injury. Nick Gonzalez has a strained back with a moderate effect. Recovery is expected to take 1 week. Let's see what the impacts of this are. It's going to influence his running moderately and have minimal impact to his hitting and throwing. I'm going to have to pause and consider what we're going to do there, but we get the dub 5-2. Let's take a look at the box score together. I want to see what it looks like. It looks like Cade Smith gets the win again. Our back-end bullpen is shutting it down. Randy gets the save. Cruz has 2 homers. O'Neal Cruz is a playoff demon for us. Let's see how it goes. We go down 1-0 in the third, but bounce back in the fourth with a 2-run homer from Cruz to take a 2-1 lead. They answer and equalize in the eighth. Looks like Shohei Ohtani gets a single off of Smith, but then we erupt in the ninth. Alfonso gets a single. Cruz gets a 3-run homer against their 75 grade closer. So that had to feel good for them. Not much production from the top of our lineup. It looks like Nick Gonzalez didn't suffer the strain back until very late in the game, but Wyatt Sanford just gets a walk, no hits. Termar gets a hit, nothing from Carson Benj. Griffin goes 3 for 4. Big game from Connor Griffin, and we may have to bump up O'Neal Cruz, you guys. If he's going to hit like this, we got to bump him up higher. Production rules all here in such small, windows of samples. We got to reward his production, I think. And, maybe even similarly, we need to reward Spencer Horwitz's production as well. But I'll kind of revisit all of that strategy off camera once we figure out what to do with Nick Gonzalez. Looks like Alfonso had an error, but Jared Jones with a 69 game score. Big game from Jared. 6 innings, 2 walks, 7K, only allows 2 hits. Beautiful game. Cade Smith comes in. It looks like the error actually, was the, the unearned run there for Cade Smith. Alfonso kind of almost fumbling the game there. And then it looks like Randy had much less drama in this game. Strikes out 1, no hits to finish the game. So I'm going to have to pause here and think about what we're going to do. But obviously we are up 3-0 against the Dodgers. Things are looking really good. All right, y'all, we've sort of reset here. We are ready to take on Shohei Ohtani in the decisive Game 4. Nothing to report on the other side of the bracket just yet, but we are up 3-0, of course. You can see our top hitters here versus the Dodgers. Connor Griffin and O'Neal Cruz lead. Termar is doing well, and then it's kind of everyone else from there, just sort of middle of the pack. Nick Gonzalez, we're just going to end up benching him. We're not going to put him on the IL or anything like that. I don't want him gone for an extended period of time. It's just 5 days, so we're going to bench him for these remaining games in LA, and then we'll kind of think about if we want him to play in these final games should we get to that point in Pittsburgh later on. But we're just going to bench him for now, and we sort of made some lineup tweaks. Yordani is going to start in his place at second and bat very low in the order. But I ultimately couldn't really, convince myself to change the lineup all that much. The only minor tweak we made was to swap Alfonso and Cruz, so we're bumping up Cruz slightly. I couldn't really rationalize a total overhaul because I'm still relatively committed to everyone's ratings on paper, and I think this is the best way to structure the lineup. But we'll see if we can escape here in a clean sweep. I think I would be shocked if we swept LA here on the road, but you never know. Mike Burrows versus Shohei. It could go either way. Obviously, Shohei has a great pedigree as a Hall of Fame player, but his numbers this year looked a little bit shaky. He has yet to pitch in the playoffs, and Mike Burrows has one good start under his belt. So we'll kind of see how this plays. Let's get it underway. Game 4 here in LA. We're going to simulate, and boom, there we go. We sweep the Dodgers in the NLCS. Huge day for Pirates fans. It's 16-2. Oh my gosh, we dominate. And O'Neal Cruz is series MVP, our guy. We believed in him from the start of the sim all the way back in 2025. We were we're going to build around O'Neal Cruz, and he has carried us here in this postseason. 16-2 is crazy. I got to see the box score on this. Oh my gosh, we jump on them for 5. They answer for 2, and then it's 10-2 in the 4th inning. And then we pour on 6 more in the 7th for good measure. 15 total hits. They had 3 errors. They totally fell apart. Oh my gosh. A game like this is awesome too because it makes everyone in the lineup hot heading into the World Series. I think, this is best case scenario for us. I love everything about this. It looks like Jordani possibly got hurt or something. I'm not sure why he was pulled here ultimately, but he was. He didn't even register an at bat. He was pinch hit for pretty much immediately. But everyone else looks like they hit. Carson Bench had 5 RBI. I want to go back up here and see kind of what went down. It looks like Lantigua with a double, and then Sanford with a 2-run jack as well. So 4 RBI for Cruz, 3 for Lantigua, like we said, 5 for Benj, and 3 for Sanford. 2 more hits for Horwitz down here as well. He's, in his final time with us. We're definitely not going to bring him back next year, you guys. Sorry, but he's turning into a postseason legend for us, hitting 364. It's crazy. Connor Griffin walked 3 times. I guess this is just like a Shohei meltdown. He couldn't even make it out of the 3rd, gave up 5. This guy Washington comes in, shuts it down. Keegan Aiken is there, gives up 4 earned, 5 total. They had a couple of errors from their young second baseman, Kellen Lindsey, so the lights were a little too bright for him, it looks like. And then Pablo Lopez comes in, also gets destroyed. Tough scenes in LA, tough way for them to go out, but we roll through. How fun is this, you guys? Now we kind of await. We have an extended rest here, so we can get fully healthy. Nick Gonzalez ought to be back at full strength by the time we, start the World Series. We'll look to see who makes it from the other side. But this video has been so awesome. I, was expecting us to do pretty well, but I did not expect us to make the World Series, you guys. I am so hype. On the other side, it'll kind of depend who wins. It's possibility that we have home field advantage. If Boston were to win, we would not. We would be the road team. We would have fewer wins than Boston. But if Texas were to win, the home field advantage would tilt in our favor. We had 1 more win in the regular season than Texas. So there's definitely something to watch for here. But I will rejoin you after all of that is done. And ultimately, it looks like we are going to face off against the Boston Red Sox here in a best-of-7 World Series battle. It means we're definitely going to go on the road here to start, so we lose our home field advantage to them, unfortunately. If we go to our playoff coverage in the 3-game set we played earlier this year, they took 2 of 3. They are 2nd in the AL in runs scored and 7th in runs against. So their pitching is a little bit weaker than ours, but their offense is right on par. Obviously, they had 98 wins, so they're a really, really strong team. If we go in and sort of meet them, there are a lot of familiar names that we know and recognize from real life Red Sox players, but they have Garrett Crochet still on the bump. He's their lead guy. Obviously, still looks very, very good. Led the AL in K per 9, 6.6 WAR. He was pretty much untouchable, and he's still kind of in his contract with them. Hasn't opted out after this season, so he's been really, really awesome. They will throw him game 1. They have Kodai Senga game 2, who has a 2.64 ERA on the season, 2.5 WAR. Looks like he only made 22 starts, so you wonder if he got injured at some point. But when he's on, he is very, very dangerous with that forkball. And looks like he's been really, really good this year too, so he'll be tough as well. Brian Bayo and Bobby Miller kind of round out their starting 4. Bayo had a 2.6 WAR. Honestly, looks pretty solid, good at keeping the ball in the park there. And Bobby Miller as well usually is a decent pitcher. He's not a ground baller. He's just kind of neutral in this game, but he had a tremendous season, 3.0 WAR. So actually their pitching does look pretty strong. Their bullpen maybe a little bit weaker around the edges. They have Jose Leclerc still, who is 35 down here, Caleb Tealbar, Brad Keller, a lot of veterans. They have Brandon Pfaadt as a setup man, which is a little bizarre. And Brock Stewart is their closer, who is just a 0.8 WAR player, but led the AL in saves at 44. Still looks pretty nasty, even though his numbers aren't maybe as dominant as those other closers that we've looked at in earlier series. But from a lineup perspective, they are stacked. They have Christian Campbell here, Ceddanne Rafaela is a 70 grade shortstop. Roman Anthony's patrolling center field. Wilyer Abreu had 30 homers this season. The password in left field drove in 60 runs. They have this guy, Mikey Romero, who is 25 years old, and he had a casual 92 RBI this season, a 4.5 WAR player for them. And, they're not done there. They still have Marcelo Meyer, who maybe had a little bit of a down year, 221 average. Drew Romo is tremendous defensively, 70 grade across most categories. And, of course, they still have Jarren Duran as well, who they're actually DHing, which is funny. I wonder what contract he's on. Has a player option for next year. So he is now 33. They're still running him out there. They don't really have many injuries, and they have a couple of guys who are really hot here. So I said the Dodgers were going to be our biggest test. I think the Red Sox are going to be even more difficult to go against. Obviously, they will throw Garrett Crochet in game 1, so it'll be a lefty pitcher, and that means we'll have to go to our lefty lineup here. I have decided to sort of change the lineups around a little bit based on postseason performance. You can see we have the table filtered for postseason stats, so just like WRC plus at the top, all of these top guys are hitting, it makes sense we go Sanford, Griffin, Benj against righties because they are, 3 of the top 5 hitters on our team. We're bumping Cruz up to cleanup, which is crazy. I don't understand how he's doing it, but he's going cleanup against righties. And then we're bumping Termar down because Termar has really sort of struggled, only a 41 WRC plus. Nick Gonzalez as well, 37, so they will go 7-8, and then we're just having Horwitz on the turn because I like it. Despite his strong production here, I think that's just the best spot for him. Against lefty pitching, I get a little more scared about what we're doing here. So Yordani will go. We haven't really faced many lefties in the playoffs. We're mostly basing this on regular season stats, but we're going Yordani leadoff, Sanford, Griffin, Lantigua, Benj, Plaz, Termar, Gonzalez, Horwitz. So you notice our hottest hitter, O'Neal Cruz, is unfortunately not starting here. Just didn't feel like he hit lefties well in the regular season. Wanted to bench him in the playoffs here. I think it makes sense, but of course he will be first off the bench to pinch hit in the event that Crochet gets pulled and they bring in a righty reliever. He can come in and pinch hit right away. So we'll see how this kind of goes and unfolds here. I actually want to make one adjustment. I'm thinking of it here in Sanford's strategy. Never lift for a pinch hitter. I don't want Cruz to pinch hit for Sanford and then end up playing defense at shortstop. I think that's too risky, so we're going to shut that down by, never lifting Sanford out of shortstop role. So kind of, paranoia, preemptive management there. But we will throw Dan Beebe, of course. Obviously, all the confidence in the world in him. So it'll be a heavyweight matchup here. Beebe versus Crochet, game 1 in Boston against a lefty pitcher. So 2 factors. We're playing on the road and against a lefty pitcher. Both of those do not go in our favor. Let's see if we can steal one on the back of Dan Beebe here. We'll simulate game 1. And we lose 5-4. It looks like we blow it late. Cade Smith, unfortunately, doesn't seem like he can handle it. Gives up 2 in the 8th. So we had the lead early. We had, 2-0, 3-0. They equalize 4-0 us, and then they come back in the 8th for 2 runs there. So that's really unfortunate. Looks like the password hit a 2-run homer off of Cade Smith late. Let's see who's, hit for us here. Looks like Benj. Axel Plaz had a hit. Horwitz goes 3 for 4. Now hitting 423 in the playoffs. Outrageous numbers there. Not much from Termar. Not much from Griffin either. 6 left on base. Lantigua 5 left on base as well. So a little bit of a struggle there. Stolen base for Sanford. Error from Yordani at second is brutal. Oh, that's tough. And that, factored in because Beebe would not have given up that 3rd run if it weren't for the error there. Tough scenes here. The homer against Cade Smith, it just is bound to happen at some point. He's been lights out for us in the playoffs so far. So this is actually the first time where we have faced a deficit in these playoffs. So we'll have to try to bounce back here game 2. Obviously, Hunter Green versus Brian Bayo, they will throw a righty, so that means we will get our preferred lineup in here where O'Neal Cruz will be in the cleanup spot, and hopefully he can maintain his hot hitting for us. Other guys here we need to wake up. We need Connor Griffin to wake up. We need Edward Lantigua to wake up as well. So I don't think there are any changes we need to make here. Let's see how we do in game 2 here. We really, really need this one. Brian Bayo has a 7.8 ERA so far in the playoffs, but Hunter Green has also been a little bit shaky for us, so let's see how we do. Oh, we lose. We lose 9-2. This has got to be some kind of sick joke. They homer 3 times. I'm wondering if we were even in this at all. They jump on us for 4 early. We cut it in half. They continue to add on, and then it was just never close from there. So let's see how the pitching did here. 3 homers against Hunter Green, not ideal. McElroy, De La Paz, Abreu all team up for mop-up, but we really never were in this one at all. So kind of a tough scene there. It looks like Cruz did not really hit much, ended up walking. I don't know that, we had 9 hits. We just left 14 on base. So it's like everyone who had an opportunity to drive guys in sort of fell flat, unfortunately. But, we were done no favors by our pitching. They jumped on us early for, it looks like, a solo shot from Rafaela, and then Romero follows it up with a 3-run blast a couple batters later. So really, really tough scenes here. The series will come back to Pittsburgh, and we'll have to regroup here. All right, guys, if we're going to pull this off, we need a really strong showing here back at home. It's time to lock in and handle business. We will be throwing Jared Jones in Game 3, who has been really good so far this postseason, but equally good on the other side is Kodai Senga, who has not lost. He is 4-0 with a 1.65 ERA, so really scary to go against him. It actually didn't even register to me that they did not end up throwing him in Game 2. They are saving him for this, first game here in Pittsburgh, so a little bit of deception on their end. It's a huge matchup between pitchers here, but we are a stronger team at home. We desperately need this one. We can't fall down 3-0 to them. I don't know if we'll be able to come back from that if we do. So let's see how this goes. We're going to simulate here, and we take a late victory, 9-8. Oh my goodness, what a sweaty game. Looks like Lantigua and Griffin both go yard. Cade Smith with the W late. We tack on 2 in the bottom of the 9th. We come from behind at home. The home crowd must have been rocking, you guys imagine. 5 in the bottom of the 7th, 2 in the 9th. They jumped on us early. It looks like Jared Jones really struggled probably. I ended up reverting the lineup back to the one that got us here. I think I got a little too creative with it, a little too in my own head, but I fixed it, put Termar back at 3, Benj at 4, Cruz back down, and he, started hitting again. So that's awesome to see. 5 RBI for Lantigua. He really put the team on his back there. Looks like he had a 3-run homer and a 2-run single. So big game. Error again from Wyatt Sanford. This dude is really frustrating me trying to play shortstop here. And one of those was it doesn't help Jared Jones. I mean, he didn't pitch well to begin with, but the error certainly doesn't help there either. McElroy comes in and kind of just steadies the ship, but ultimately it was our offense that gave us the strong production and carried us to victory. So looks like there was a rain delay as well, so I don't know at what point that factored in. Looks like Brock Stewart blew the game for them late, which is awesome. Love to get in the head of their closer a little bit there. They also had 2 errors. Not sure that, I guess it impacted Jose Leclerc as well. 2 of those runs were unearned for him. So critical errors on both sides there. thankfully, our offense is able to carry us to victory there. So we still have life in us. We're not dead yet. But it'll come down to Bobby Miller versus Mike Burrows now. We're on the edge of our seats with every game here. Mike Burrows has been pretty strong for us so far. I like the way the lineup is currently constructed for us. I don't want to make any changes. We're good to go here, so we really need this one as well. To equalize 2-2 would be absolutely massive here for us. Let's see how we do. And the Red Sox beat us 5-4. Randy blows the game late. Are you joking? We get homers from Benj and Griffin. I got to see what happened here. It's a tie game heading into the ninth, and they get a triple off of Randy Rodriguez. Ceddanne Rafaela is quite the player in this game. That's really frustrating to see. Looks like we had a 3-1 lead after 5. And then, they come back, take the lead by 1. We tie it up, bottom 8. They come back, top 9, get a run on the board. 15 hits is just kind of like unacceptable. I don't know how we expect to win with that performance. But, hitless day from Termar. Not the best postseason for him. Benj looks like he's doing well, and Lantigua kind of struggling again still. So, I don't know what the plan should be with this lineup. I may take a break in between here to sort of, make certain we're confident in our lineup for this, pivotal Game 5 coming up. Looks like Burrows had a pretty average game. It was just Abreu who came in the 7th and got touched up a bit. JoJo tried to save it but was unable to, and ultimately ended up giving up 3 hits. Holton comes in, not the best performance from him. Well, no, sorry. I meant Randy comes in, and then not the best performance from him. He walks, gives up 3 hits, like I mentioned earlier at the top. It looks like Rafaela kind of got to him. So really, really tough. I don't know how it ultimately went down in the 9th. Let's check and see. Looks like double from Roman Anthony to start off Randy, and then a fly out. We intentionally walk Willier, so runners first and second, no outs. Fly out there. Mikey Romero gets a single, so base is juiced. Another fly out is induced, and then I don't actually know when the run scored here. I guess it was... it was here at the very start. Ceddanne Rafaela leads off with a triple. I didn't even see that. So it's a leadoff triple. And then, honestly, Randy kind of did a good job of shutting it down. Bases juiced here. And he only allowed the first run. So just kind of a tough break on that opening leadoff triple. And then we could not, Nick Gonzalez strikes out. Single from Horwitz. They bring in a lefty to go against Sanford, and he grounds out. So kind of a, boring finish for us there. But you can't give up 15 hits and expect to win. So it was just kind of a tough scene all around. Let me pop off camera here, and we will kind of regroup for Game 5. Obviously, we're going to face Garrett Crochet, another lefty, so it's going to be quite the challenge for us. It all comes down to this, you guys. We are back against the wall, 3-1. Last home game of the season, we're giving the ball to our ace, Dan Beebe, of course. He will face off against Garrett Crochet. If there's anyone who can help us pull this out, it is Dan Beebe. Obviously, going against the lefty pitcher here in Crochet. We're going to go with our kind of B-team lineup here. We're going to go Gonzalez, Sanford, Griffin. Axel Plaza has been bumped up to clean up now. Benj, Lantigua, Termar, Jordani down in the 8th spot. And Horwitz at 9. So I can't say I'm confident, but it's not impossible. If we get a win here, we're just going to take it one game at a time and move through. But obviously this is going to be the season on the line right here. Can we managed to pull off the impossible here? I'm so nervous to click this button, you guys. Let's see what ends up happening. Dan Beebe versus Garrett Crochet. And we get the dub, 6-1, huge victory. We stay alive. Brian Abreu actually gets the win. No homers in this game. We narrowly escape. 5-run win. I wouldn't say it's narrowly, but that's just what I was reading that sentence, and that's what the game recap said right here. So we get 5 in the bottom of the 7th there. So it looks like we get into their bullpen. It's kind of a pitcher's duel the whole way. Errors for both teams, but we double up their hits. It looks like our lineup was pretty successful against Garrett Crochet. They jump on us first. We answer, kind of trading RBI singles. They actually walk in a run, and then Axel Plaus in the cleanup spot with a big 2-run double in the 7th against the lefty pitcher. I think that guy's a lefty. Yes, he throws left. Not even going to try to pronounce the name. But it looks like Dan Beebe goes 6 2/3. Tremendous game. 72 game score, only walking 1, only 3 hits allowed, 9K, 107 pitches. Abreu is strong, and then actually Cole Klecker gets in to kind of mop it up. So overall, very, very good game. And another error from freaking Wyatt Sanford, dude. I'm telling you, something is not adding up with his ratings. How is he getting so many errors with these ratings? Is he just, I don't even understand it. I mean, it's triggering to think about. Termar is not good. We're going to have to bump him down in the lineup, you guys, against right-handed pitching. I'm going to have to go off camera here again and sort of retool. But I feel good about the top of our order. I like Gonzalez. I like Sanford, Griffin. I like our catchers. I like what Benj is giving us. Everyone seems to be performing pretty well. So, we're going to advance another day here. Hunter Green is going to have to go for us, I think. I don't think we can, make any changes. He has obviously not been good, so I'll have to do some retooling here. Give me a sec, and I'll figure out what our plan is going to be. All right, you guys, here it goes. Our season rests on the shoulders of Hunter Green, who will get the ball in Game 6. We have 2 pitchers who have postseason ERAs in the 7s facing off in this critical game here. Obviously, we need this to bring the series back even to force a Game 7. We've sort of retooled our lineup a bit. We're basing the majority of our decisions based on who is hitting so far in this series. So it's a little bit different than what we normally run against right-handed pitching. Mainly Gonzalez is getting bumped up to the 2 spot. Griffin is going to actually hit cleanup, and then we are going 3 lefties in a row here on the turn. Lantigua and Termar are sort of down in the order. Cruz has not been hitting this series, so he's going to bat 8th. Horwitz I still like on the turn. So we've kind of bumped our righties up here and sort of reshuffled everything. But the first 4 guys here, really 5 guys, the whole top half of our order, have been hitting pretty well so far this series. And, it really just comes down to, can Hunter Green put us in a good position to win this? Obviously, Boston is a tough place to go in and play. They're going to be, fully packed out, full stadium. But I think there is a chance we can do this. So I haven't lost hope just yet. We're going to see how we can do here. Hunter Green versus Brian Bayo, you guys. I have knots in my stomach. Hopefully we can equalize here. I think there's a good shot. So let's see if we simulate this game, what ends up happening. The series is tied. We take a huge 13-3 dub. Let's go. Oh, my. I'm so hyped, you guys. This is unreal. We force a Game 7. We were down 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, and now we've won 2 consecutive games to force a Game 7 here. 13-3, a huge offensive outburst. It looks like Hunter Green was able to keep them in check. Carson Benj with 2 dingers. He's a freak for us. We get 17 hits. Oh my gosh, our offense is unleashed, you guys. Look at these hitting stats. It's 7-2 at the top of the second. Oh my gosh, and then it's 10-2, and we just showed no mercy from there on out. 3-run homer in the first for Benj. Abreu tries to answer, and then Spencer Horwitz on that turn with a run-scoring double in the second. So big offensive day for us. It looks like everyone hit, truly everyone. The top 3 in our order was insane, and everyone hit with runners on. It looked like, Nick Gonzalez had 6 left on base, but at the same time he had 2 hits. It looked like he did pretty well, all things considered. I think the lineup tweaks ended up paying off for us there. So, Brian Abreu just got shelled. Oh my gosh. And Hunter Green with a big game, only 4 hits allowed, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Didn't really strike anyone out. And then De La Paz comes in and mops it up. So, nice game all around. Jose Leclerc gets shelled as well, and so does Brandon Pfaadt. So we kind of got into their bullpen a little bit as well. So really, really beneficial game. Wyatt Sanford had 5 hits. He was 5 for 5 with 4 RBI. Tremendous game for him. Also 5 RBI for Carson Bench. So we are not dead yet. This is crazy. I can't believe we fought all the way back here. We even get a little news hit here on Wyatt Sanford, who came through for us in the clutch. So we will finish today, and now it will be Game 7 in Boston. It's fitting it would come down to Jared Jones. The roller coaster ride all season for us. Kodai Senga has been dominant in the playoffs thus far. Sub-2 ERA, 4-0. Jared Jones, like we mentioned, you never know. It's a total dice roll. So, I'm shocked we made it this far. I did not anticipate the video going this long, but hopefully you guys are having a good time watching. I can't believe our season has come down to the Pirates versus the Red Sox here in Game 7 of the 2029 playoffs. So, this has lived up to my expectations and more. I think the team has been awesome this year to follow along. No matter what happens here, it was a fun ride, and I can't wait to run it back next year. So, without further ado, let's see how we do here in Game 7. Can we pull off the impossible, coming back from 3-1 down in the World Series to win on the road in Boston? Jared Jones versus Kodai Senga. Here we go. We lose 6-5. Cade Smith blows it late. You presume we had the lead or it was like a tie game. I knew as soon as a sound didn't trigger, we got no achievement from the game. It was just a death knell. I'm going to be sick to my stomach. We get homers from Alonso and Sanford, but where did this go wrong, I'm wondering. We're up 3-0. They take the lead. We equalize 4-4. Take the lead, actually, 5-4, and then lose it in the 7th. So I'm wondering, that had to have been Cade Smith, right? If we go down to our pitching. Not the best game from Jared Jones. We kind of piece it together with our bullpen. Everyone... it's kind of a confusing structure of the way it went. Jones got pulled really early, but I guess he did throw 84 pitches, and the writing was kind of on the wall there for our manager. Only a 29 game score for him. And then Cade Smith could not shut it down, just gave up 3 hits. Looks like maybe he was stretched a little bit long. You would have loved if maybe Abreu had gotten in there to save him or something like that. Don't really know what more we could have done, but we didn't really get any hits late off of their bullpen. There was definitely time for us to come back here in the 8th and the 9th, and we couldn't get it done. So just a brutal way to end the season. We fought hard. Definitely a really competitive series. It looks like our lineup was held relatively in check here. Benj, Griffin, Alfonso, Sanford get hits, but really disappointing playoff from Termar. And same for Lantigua as well. Cruz definitely cooled off this series, didn't really produce for us. So, it's frustrating to come so close, you guys. Passed ball from Alfonso too, so kind of just tough scenes all around. Ceddanne Rafaela takes series MVP. Tremendous player. Obviously, insane center fielder and shortstop for them. Looks like, World Series MVP and the MVP of their championship game. But our Pirates come up just short. Heartbreaking loss. Cade Smith, unfortunately, just losing it there at the very, very end. 39 pitches for him was maybe a little bit aggressive. You can see he's fully exhausted. He kind of just questioned the late game management there, but ultimately, Boston is, they're the ones left partying tonight, and our Pirates go back home a little bit defeated. So that's a wrap on the 2029 season, you guys. I know it's a little disappointing that we did not take home the championship this year. It would have been nice to get those rings here in 2029. I would have loved if we had, run the table all the way through, but I think to even claw back and, make it a full 7-game series was an accomplishment when you look at like how we positioned ourselves early in the series. So, obviously, this is just a first step for our Pirates. Ideally, we make it back here next year and we're even stronger than we were this season. So, wow, that was quite the ride. I will leave it here for you guys. Obviously, in the next episode, we will look ahead to the off season and kind of go about our usual pace there, working through the first bits of that, reviewing awards, identifying free agents we may want to pursue, and all of that. So thank you so much for joining me in this video. Obviously, I know it was kind of a long one, but I think it was the most fun I've had making one of these yet, and hopefully it was fun for you to watch as well. So if you appreciate this, or enjoyed your time spent, feel free to throw a like on the video. That's the best thing you can do to support these videos and this series. But yeah, I think I'm going to take a little bit of time. I think I need to sort of walk this off, and then we'll be back with the off season shortly, and we can kind of turn our attention toward the next decade here. The 2030s will be starting in our next video. So I hope to see you guys there. Take care, and I'll see you soon.